Is 12:31 and we'd like to reward those who are prompt. Today we're going to talk about your blueprint for a move, 12 mistakes you don't want to make when you sell. I want to say this is a series that we're doing. Um, I don't know what happened there. Something I was trying to open. Let me cancel that. Sorry about that. We're doing a series of seminars, and next week we're going to be doing giving you checklists for everything you need to be thinking about when you're buying and selling. And the following week we're going to be talking about your Zestimate and how do we price houses, followed by our final in the series, which is what has the pandemic done to your price in general and the real estate market. So with that, we'll start off today's with the number one thing. That's not the number one thing. It's a baker's dozen. I know I said 12 things, but I came up with 13. First of all, please always evaluate your agent's written marketing plan. I say this because sadly, I would venture to guess that fewer than 10% of agents actually have a written marketing plan. Sellers are really quick to have this likable relationship with an agent that they hire, but they're not actually looking for what's going to happen. You should have expectations in writing of things that are going to do to market your home. And there's a lot of things that a good agent can do. And these are the kind of the standard things, but they can take it up a notch. Are there going to be any special events? What is the custom social media marketing that'll happen? What kind of photography are you going to get? There's a lot of agents out there that are still using their iPhones. Are they going to have invite the neighbors to an open house, even though we have to be very careful about how many people we let in the house at a time? There's going to be postcards, prospecting campaigns. Do you have a beautiful outdoor kitchen that is worthy of a Pinterest board? You should have something customized to your particular house so that you can get the word out and create value about your house ahead of time. For those of you who have a $1 million plus listing, we do have a digital e-magazine for our luxury products. And that's just something that's great. Another way to promote the higher end listings that we have at our company. What kind of exposure are you going to get? Where are you going to be? I think a lot of agents just want to put you in MLS, and that's what they do. Matter of fact, when I got into real estate early on, I heard a great expression I want to share, that too many agents were reliant on the 3 Ps. The first is they put you in MLS, they put a sign in the ground, and they pray that you sell. So, those 3 Ps, it's a start, but it's not full exposure, and it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get top dollar and best terms. Something else that people are really surprised that we talk about is that look for quality, not quantity. Now, listen, there are a lot of agents who sell a lot of real estate that are superb, excellent. They have teams to support them. They have a lot of business. They are going to be excellent agents to work with. But too often, I think the consumer is mesmerized by seeing a lot of signs and think that they need to go with the person who sells the most real estate. Sometimes that agent, if they're not one of the good ones, might be the same ones that don't have time for you, that don't return phone calls to other agents, that don't have the time to really work on the marketing for your property. So what I'm going to suggest here is look for quality, not quantity. Quality of agent, someone who's a great negotiator, someone who is savvy and has tactics, someone who is very strategic in their approach to how you are going to put your house on the market, what kind of product you're going to create for market, and then how you're going to price your house. There's strategy and tactics involved with all of that. Next, listen, it's music to our ears when an agent says, listen, hey, you don't have to do anything. We can just put you on the market. And that just seems like a really easy approach. But a lot of agents aren't invested in your success. And unfortunately, too many sellers think, well, this market's so hot, I can sell, I don't have to do anything. And it's true. You don't have to do anything. But the return on investment, and that's what we're going to talk about in next week's program. when you do work on your house is great. People who put $15,000 or $20,000 in should get 60 to 80 or $100,000 more. So I can assure you that if you had $15,000 to go put on the dog track with an automatic return of 3 to 5 times your investment, you'd think that's a good bet. But it takes a little extra work and a little more organization, but we can take care of that for you. So a lot of agents, it's a lot more work for the agents too when you do work for your house. They're getting the contractors, they have all the resources. They're like GCing the job, right? An agent won't make you do anything, just means they're just going to send the photographer and hope you clean up a little bit. So you want someone who's totally invested in your success and is going to guide you on the things to do that will make the greatest impact on your successful sale. Next, listen, when there's something that goes on in the market that's gone on probably forever, whenever you tell a friend or your attorney or your sister who lives in Des Moines, you say, I want to put my house on the market. The first thing that comes out of everyone's mouth is, you better have 3 prices, have 3 agents, and you don't want to undersell yourself. Make sure you get a price for your house. Have 5 people over. And what we've taught the consumer to do is to go get a price for their house. And this is what happens. We watch it all the time. A consumer who's doing their due diligence has a lot of agents in, and inevitably one of them is willing to buy their listing. They're going to tell them what they want to hear. They're going to give them a price that doesn't make sense. You can't comp it. There's no comps. But you know what happens? Any seller who hears a high price automatically likes that agent more. Why? Because that agent obviously appreciates their house more, values it higher. And those are the houses, even in this market, that are sitting. There's nothing wrong with the houses that aren't selling. They're just not priced right. They missed the mark. So what I'm going to suggest is, when you are calling an agent and you want to sell your house, the question shouldn't be, I need a price for my house. The question needs to be, I need to know what your strategies are to get me the most money. What are the tactics that you'll use to ensure that I get the best terms and price when I sell? Those are 2 different conversations. So stop focusing on the price. Focus on the strategies and tactics that will get you the best price. Because as counterintuitive as it sounds, strategically pricing your house to the biggest market, especially now in these very lopsided, all the leverage is with the seller kind of market. Buyers, it's awful to be a buyer right now. It's absolutely terrible to be a buyer. They're all feeling like they're overpaying. They're losing all their protections when they buy. They're having to waive home inspection and appraisal and make up for any appraisal gap if the appraisal comes in lower than the sales price. It's really hard on buyers right now. But, we've taken a pledge at Leading Edge that if we represent the seller, we have to do well by you. You are our fiduciary. We are responsible for you getting the best price. And the way we do that is not by listing it at the highest price. It's by attracting the most buyers. Now, here's what's also going on in the market that you need to know. Unfortunately, we've trained buyers that they have to pay so much more than the asking price in so many markets that now if we actually start to raise the prices to what makes sense, they may balk, thinking, if I have to pay $100,000 more than that price, it doesn't make sense. Or 150, or even more, or 60,000, or 40,000. So the buyer's mentality is that they have to go way over asking now to secure a property. So we're hesitant to really raise the prices where it makes sense, because when we do, buyers are like, oh, they're asking too much. I can't go that high over. And all of a sudden, the time to review offers comes and there's no offers because we shot too high. So getting yourself an amazing agent who really understands the market, who understands how to position you when launch an MLS is important. And again, 2 weeks from now, we're doing strategies and pricing and how to price and why we do what we do. Number 5, agents that tell you what you want to hear and won't dispense the medicine. It's not just won't make you do the work, as we said, but the medicine just might be the cleaning up or the price that you should have or the fact that you need to fill out a seller's disclosure. There's a list of things that are not comfortable. And when you have an agent that's willing to dispense the medicine and tell you the hard truth, that's what's going to help you more. Think about now, if you had a real problem and you wanted help with it, and you went to your best friend because you need guidance, you need someone who's willing to tell you the hard truth. Did you go to them to hear what you want to hear? Or are you looking to know that they love you enough to tell you what you need to hear? And sometimes that's hard. And a great agent is willing to tell you what you need to hear. So it's so easy to believe someone when they're telling you exactly what you want to hear. The one who doesn't tell you what you want to hear, but tells you what you need to hear, keep that. Okay, disappointing descriptions or overselling. This is a big problem. When we write descriptions of properties for our clients, you have to hit the right note. You don't want to oversell it and you don't want to undersell it. And in this market, there are so many examples of each. Now I talk about that a little bit, but here's my visual. If you're putting your car on the market, you don't want to put it on the market dirty. You didn't do the few things. You didn't showcase it the way it should be showcased. This car says, wash me. Also, if you have a nice average house in Melrose, Boston, Andover, Rockingham County, wherever you might be, but you make it sound like one of the most beautiful houses on earth. I can't even pronounce the name of this car, but it's apparently worth millions and the most expensive car. What happens is that people get all excited to see your house, and then when they see it, they're disappointed. So that's the key thing, is getting an agent who knows what to write, and not just a list of amenities and what your house has. What's the experience of living there? Do you walk out on deck and listen to the birds when you drink your coffee in the morning? Is it near the dog park? Is it near yoga studios and coffee shops? Whatever it might be. What is your experience of living there? How is the light in the house in the morning? What is the entertainment space inside and outside? You've got to have someone who can make people feel great and want to live there by the description of the property. But there's another key factor. I haven't met a house yet that didn't have a problem. Everybody's got an issue. The houses with big, long, tall staircases, the ones with no backyard, the list goes on and on of houses that have things that are broken, things that don't work, or compromises in the house, that are on busy streets. For instance, it's always harder to sell houses that are on busy streets. However, I was once enlightened by a policeman that was trying to buy a house on a busy street. He said, I need a busy street. I need a place that's always going to be plowed. And I thought, there are people out there looking for that. Or sometimes busy streets create a lot of privacy. You don't kind of have that neighborhood feel. There are people who want that. And people buy on busy streets because, frankly, they can't afford the same nice house you have on a side quiet street because it costs more money. So there's a market out there, if you know how to write the description of property, to attract the people who will live there. I helped one of our agents years ago write. She had amazing set of staircases. And then, you're thinking this is like going to the gym. So we decided to leverage that. Listen, this is going to keep 5 to 10 pounds off just living in this house. And believe me, the buyer thought that was awesome. It wasn't for everyone lugging their groceries up the stairs, but we made them feel good about what is generally the compromise. So a good agent knows how to Describe your property to attract the right buyer. Doesn't undersell it, doesn't oversell it, addresses the problems in a way that make the right buyer feel good about it. It might be, hey, backyard removed for your convenience. Or, this is not an original of mine. I took it from someone else, but another big long set of stairs that said relative repellent, keeps relatives away. Might work for somebody. Number 7, there are agents out there that still do not understand escalation clauses. There are agents out there that are barring, no one can use an escalation clause on this house. My sellers don't want escalation clauses. You know why those sellers don't want escalation clauses? Because they don't understand them, and their agent doesn't know how to use and leverage them, so they're missing out. Personally, and I can speak for every single agent at Leading Edge, we've never met a seller that didn't want more money. So what exactly is an escalation clause? Well, here's how we would write one. The buyer will pay $11,000 more than any other bona fide offer that does not have a home sale contingency. Why do we write this way? So $11,000 is an arbitrary number. It can be $7,500 more, $25,000 more. I once saw an escalation clause for $250,000 more than any other bona fide offer. It was on a $4 million property. So, but the reason we say bona fide offer is we don't want you competing against someone who puts a verbal offer in. Hey, my person will pay $820,000. And the agent calls it in. There's no check, there's no deadline, there's no written contract. That's not a bona fide offer. We don't want you escalating on top of that. So we want a bona fide offer. And then for sellers, we need to say sometimes, what is this? An offer that does not have a home sale contingency. What we have found is that buyers who can't perform, who still have to go and sell their house, are often willing to pay a lot more than any other buyer, but they can't buy it. They have to sell their house. Now, maybe the house is already under agreement and they're just letting you know that it has to close and the buyers are financed. Those are risks that we will weigh against the other offers. But sometimes those offers come in going, hey, I'll pay $11,000 more than any other bona fide offer that doesn't have a home sale contingency. Oh, and by the way, not only is my house not under agreement, but it's not even on the market yet. And by the way, it's not really ready to go on the market yet. I still have to paint and stage, and we haven't even taken the photos yet. So we want to make sure that a seller understands that a great offer, or even a great offer with an escalation clause where they can't perform, they can't buy it because they have to sell their house, is not a good offer. Number 8, bad photos. This is the fun part of today's presentation. So these are real photos that have been on MLS, and it just gives you an idea of why photography is so important, and we should give you a couple of hints on things you want to avoid. First of all, no one wants to see your collection of anything. Right? This doll collection is totally creepy, but people who have collections should put them away. Some of them are very valuable. You don't want people focused on your record collection or any china that you've been collecting. You want that stuff stored away. You don't want to showcase that, box it up, put it in storage, drop it off at a friend's house, but get that stuff out of your house. I can't explain why anyone would put this photo in MLS. Those look like real mattresses. Those don't look like, just cushions for those lawn chairs out there. And why is some of the lawn furniture floating in the pool? Agents out in the market take stupid pictures like this and they post them. I cannot believe that sellers let them get away with it, but that's what happens. More bad photos. This photo makes me want to write a blog post, and I think I'd title it, Why My Ceiling Fan is So Sad. Just cracks me up. Here we go. Listen, we love plants, but boy, when your place is cluttered, that is overly decorated. That is totally custom. That's the hard thing for sellers to recognize, that when they've done things that are very custom the way they like it, it doesn't show like a Restoration Hardware catalog or like a really cool, hip and trendy Pinterest board. So beware of your high sense of custom style that can backfire on you when you sell. Okay, do you see the guy behind the door? This is a real MLS photo. And then why would you leave the broom and the laundry detergent? I mean, I see what they're trying to do is that you have outside access in a patio, but that was not staged properly. Guys, get the laundry out, clean up before the photos come. No more needs to be said. We transform homes here. You don't have to do anything like we said, but if you want to, we can help. We have the resources, we have the contractors, we have the painters, we have the stagers, and we do not recommend you do anything unless the return is going to be rewarded, that you're going to be in much better position, you'll sell faster, you'll get better terms, and you'll make more money. And we always use professional photography. So there are agents out there saying, listen, I'm going to charge you less if I bring the buyer. Sounds like a great deal. Yeah, they bring a buyer. It's not going to be a 5% fee, it'll be a 4% fee. Sounds great. Too often, those agents who are incentivized to sell the house themselves often don't cooperate very well with other brokers, and they can sometimes work against you. They don't really make it easy for anyone else to show your house. They don't really go back to those offers to see if they'll pay more because they don't want to lose. Unfortunately, this is really bad behavior. It's sad that I even have to talk about this, but I can tell you definitively that if you work with a leading edge agent, this kind of crap doesn't happen. Leading edge agents always service their clients at the highest level. You don't get these shenanigans, none of this monkey business. They understand your fiduciary, and they will always work hard to get you the best offer. They know how to leverage it. So one of the things that happens in real estate is that not all agents are totally vested, as I started to say, in getting everyone into your house. As a matter of fact, there are a lot of agents out there that are going to make it sound easy. Listen, I can bring you private buyers. You can sell privately. I can privately market your home. Think about that. That's an oxymoron. Privately marketing means I'm not marketing your house. I'm just going to pick a couple buyers that might buy it and pay you full price, and you're going to be happy. In this market, when we are seeing offers go 20, 30, 50, 60, 80, 100, 200, and ready recently on an $899 house with a top agent who knows how to price a full $300,000 over asking, 30% over asking. She was speechless, never expected it to happen. And this is a really knowledgeable agent with her pulse on the market. If you get talked in to selling privately, I can tell you, you are going to leave a lot of money on the table, and that agent is not working for you. They're working for themselves and for their company, who want both sides of the commission. So be really careful about that. I have a little slide here. Would you want to bring your house to an auction of many or an auction of one? Where are you going to get the most money? I'm going to go back here. Sometimes those discount agents, the ones that are willing to charge you less in their professional fee than other agents, there's a reason. They discount your house too. Again, they don't often have a written marketing plan. They are not out there to work hard on your behalf. Listen, you pay me less, I'm not going to feel like I need to do a 3D visual Matterport tour, and I'm not going to do floor plans for your house, and I'm not going to develop a special marketing plan, figure out how to find our demographic and our probable buyer, and that discounts your house. I'm too damn lazy. Hey, we got 6 offers, but let's just take the highest one. It's a lot more work to go back to 6 offers or 16 offers or 26 offers and see if you can't leverage that offer for better terms. I know there are a lot of listing agents out there right now that think, listen, everybody in this market knows you got to make your best offer. We're just going to pick the highest offer that comes in. While that is true, and people know this competition, when a buyer is respected and their agent is respected, and a listing agent takes the time to go back to every offer and say, listen, do you want to hold or are you looking to ante up? In the back of that buyer's mind, they did put in their best offer. But when they hear there are 17 other offers, that house becomes more valuable. And the agents who take the time to go back to those buyers can often get more money for you. So discount agents are discounters. 12, an agent who works for you, not for, I wrote herself because I kept making fun of guys in the other photos. Too many agents, and I think we did an entire seminar on this a couple of weeks ago, which was all the 7 vignettes in bad behavior. A lot of agents, unfortunately, are self-serving. They're all about them. You know, they don't want to present the other offers. They don't want to go back to other offers to see if they can leverage them. They are, they're not into spending extra money to market your house because it's going to sell and you'll be happy enough. Matter of fact, the sellers, as we outlined before, often don't know what's happening behind their back. They're left in the dark. And as a result, they might even like the agent that undersells them. They might write a glowing Zillow review because they just don't know what's going on. And then lastly, I do want to talk about an agent that keeps you in the dark. We subscribe to something at Leading Edge. It's called Showing Time. And when you use Showing Time, you know 2 key things about what's going on in the market as a seller. First of all, and we understand that some agents accompany showings, and that's fine. But when a listing agent wants to get all of the calls themselves and monitor who gets called back and what agents will be allowed to show the house, then a seller never knows who's getting access, how many buyers are coming in. When a listing agent uses Showing Time, a seller gets to see everyone who wants to make an appointment and gets feedback from every single showing. Well, if the buyer's agent takes the time to fill it out. But I will tell you this, if a buyer's agent is going to be bringing an offer in, they want to give you feedback and they want to let you know that. Why do they want to let you know that? Because they want the seller to know there's another offer coming in. Hey, by the way, you know, did we get that offer from Tamara? Did we get that offer from Ray? Because when a seller is kept in the dark and they're not presented all their offers, they don't know that. So when you use a tool like Showing Time, it creates transparency in the market and a seller knows exactly what's going on. And that way an agent can't be sneaking around behind their back trying to, you know, sell it themselves and get both sides of the commission. Real Scout is a cool tool that we have invested heavily in at Leading Edge. And what we're doing is it allows us to identify what buyers are in the market and how many buyers there are for your house, given what it offers, square footage, bedrooms, baths, etc., at this price. If we raise the price, you generally have fewer buyers. And if we lower the price, you get more buyers. It's a great tool because in real estate, we've been able to monitor exactly what happens with listings. Like we know how many listings, we know what the sales trends are. You know, we get information that, but we don't get information on buyers. And this tool is giving us insight into the market. So something that our agents are relying on a lot. And I alluded earlier to our ability to help you when you sell. So listen, moving is hard, as it says in our ads here. We do try to make it simple. How do we do that? Well, our Go service will do anything you need. We can pack you up and move you. We can change your countertops. We can paint the cabinets. We can take up the rugs and polish the floors. We can take down the wallpaper and we can paint. And all of those costs will be paid out of closing. So if you don't have the cash up front to do that, we will help you and get paid back at closing. Next, Go Now, Sell Later. In this market, if you can buy first, there's a lot of comfort. First of all, if you buy first, now you know you're going to be secure in getting a home because a lot of people are afraid to sell first and be homeless. If you buy first, you're not forced to just pick whatever's left in the inventory after you sell. you don't have to put your house on the market until you found something. A lot of people think I can't buy first because I have to sell my house. That's where my money is. That's where my equity is. Well, we have financing options that might help you. Um, it's generally for people who have at least 20% equity, but we do have a program that might go up to 95%. So we can probably help you buy first. The other key thing about this is that we've seen people who sold last fall thinking I'll find a house. And now, not only have they not found a house, but the house they want is getting more and more expensive. Overall, the market's up over 13% since last year. So they're getting priced out of the house they were trying to buy. And then please, whatever you do, don't get sucker punched by one of those companies. You know, they're called something like We Buy Unpretty Houses. And listen, it's easy for you. We'll make it totally convenient. You can just walk away, leave stuff. We'll get it out of there. You pick a closing date. We pay cash. Sounds so simple. What they don't tell you is they're taking you to the cleaners on your price. They discount between 30 and 40% on average. And they take advantage of people. People who are a little bit less sophisticated. Don't let this happen to your parents, to your aunt, to your elderly neighbor. It's very scary, and we see examples of it every day. Because what they do is they come in and do the things that we would recommend you do, and then they make the money that should be in your pocket. That's your equity. And here's our little commercial that we'll end with.
You want to sell your home and maybe buy another. So what's stopping you? Too busy to get it ready? Who isn't? Maybe it needs some work. Maybe a lot of work. Who has time or money for that? But you can't buy something else until you sell. What to do? Tap into GoService from your leading edge real estate agent. GoService will take care of all the hassles of selling for you so you can get going. We provide cleaning, junk removal, painting, kitchen and bath updates, repairs, landscaping, professional staging, even pack and move services. You pay nothing until you close on your sale. Think you can't buy a house without selling yours first? With GoService, you can. We have financing options that will make you an attractive buyer. Buy the house you want, then we take complete care of selling your home. Sell then buy, or buy then sell. Either way, GoService can simplify your move. Learn more from your leading edge real estate agent today, or visit leadingedgeagents.com.
And with that, if I don't know if anybody has anything, three things in the chat. Who will pay for photography and staging? Some sellers just thinking it costs more, and they don't want to consider it. We pay for all of the photography. Staging is something generally that the sellers pay for, but if we need to pay for it up front and get paid back at closing, we can arrange that. Any other questions? Again, we are super happy to make up any answers. There are some great agents on this call. If an agent here invited you on, please reach out to them and they will help you and guide you. I can just tell you this, in this market today, the agents that will do right by you, that won't be working against your best interest, that will never compromise you, are leading edge agents. We are distinguishing ourselves in the market as the people who are doing it right. So you're lucky that you're here, and you're very welcome, Gail. Very glad to have you, and I'm glad you find this helpful. Have a delightful day. Hope to see you next week at the one that's really the kind of fun one. It's about what you actually need to do to get your house ready so that you can buy. Take care now, everyone. Bye-bye.